Hi guys, Gala Geek here. I'm pushing back the release date of the Powerpuff Girls 2016 review to the 24th. That's next Thursday. Not next Thursday, this Thursday. And as you can probably tell, I can't really talk and I still have to record the script. So I'll have that up on Thursday. That means probably Friday. But the goal is Thursday, and so instead of that right now, here is the second podcast I was originally going to release in the first half of June. It's the second podcast with my friend Howtotrainyounana. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Okay,
alright, so
tell me when we're rolling again.
We've been rolling for like 30 seconds.
Oh, Jesus! You gotta tell me these things, Gala!
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna keep saying stupid shit, and then you're gonna record it, and then that's gonna be our opening again.
Blackmail.
You're good at that.
Thank you.
Anyway, so, this is Nana.
Hi, I'm Dolly. I have food in my mouth. What's this?
This is Gala.
My reviews are literally called Golly Good Reviews.
Golly Good Reviews?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so find Gala on Golly Good Reviews on YouTube.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
my logo is literally a cupcake.
Literally a cupcake. She
Cupcakes are
is a
nice.
cupcake.
Oh, thank you.
She's a beautiful, beautiful rainbow cupcake.
And you, my dear, are a beautiful
I'm a sad donut.
croissant.
I'm a croissant. Croissant.
You've got that delicious doughy inside and the crusty, decadent outside. And they squeeze a little bit of the cream cheese frosting in there.
So I can be allergic to myself.
And you take a bite. And then you die.
And then I'm filled with death. Yeah, this is just what I was gonna say. You take a bite, and then I'm filled with death and you die. Death. Well, good thing that we're talking about death right now, because we're going to get into some death in this episode, actually.
What are we going to read, Dana?
Today we're going to be reading from a work-in-progress fic that I'm working on, because I write fic, and I have no self-control.
What a coincidence. I do, too.
Hella!
Whoa!
Yeah.
How often do you publish?
Fairly decently. Not terribly consistently, but, I usually write somewhere between, 5 to 10 fics a year.
Wow, you are an inspiration to us all.
Yeah,
I've been working on my one for 10 years now.
Hey, same. I have those too. No, I have a tendency to be I start a project, I'll maybe write one chapter for it, because it'll be a big project. I'll post that chapter. I won't touch it again for a year, but I'll write 5 one-shots in between that are and my one-shots can be anywhere between a couple hundred words and a 15,000 word fic.
There is no difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no difference.
Yeah. I sit down and when I get done with my chapters, I'm like, holy shit. Because I'm just I was just going for 500.
Well, 15,000 words later,
15,000.
we have this.
I still remember when we were talking about our English thesis, and they were like, it has to be 30 pages long. And I was like, child's play.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Funny, I've written twice that many for fun in a single sitting.
Yep. Yeah. But, yeah, I always hate NaNoWriMo because I'm like, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be great. And I get 3 days in, and I get home, and I look at the clock and go,
This is hell.
This is hell.
I've never actually done that because I have a hard time with commitment and committing to writing
well,
on a consistent...
commit, I just suck at it.
Yeah, committing to writing on a consistent basis is a guarantee to make me not write.
Yeah.
Give me tons of other things to do, and I'll put it all off in order to write. Again, I'm still sick. Well, actually allergies, but, I'm dying. Yeah. But, again, this is my constant state of being.
Yeah. Yeah. I did enjoy writing my thesis paper, although I really wish that I had, looked more into the Disney version of Snow White. And, I found a lot of interesting things with, the different versions of Snow White and everything, but it just... I was more passionate about the Disney version.
Yeah.
And, like, the Disney section took up, like, 3/4 of my paper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh, and if you're looking for any of my fic, you can find me at Howtotrainyounana on either AO3, which is Archive of Our Own, or you can find me on Tumblr and see all the rest of my shit posts.
And you will not be seeing my senior thesis because it's shit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can read any of my fic. And
Yeah, you
come
can read
bother
any
me
of my
then.
fanfictions. There's shit too, but...
I'm fairly proud of some of mine. There's...
My old Danny Phantom ones, I got one on the other day that was like, update! And I was like, not a chance in hell.
Oh, yeah, not a chance in hell.
I mean, maybe someday, but I just don't have time to sit down and write fan fiction like I'd like.
I have insomnia, so that's why I write.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I write instead
I
of...
fixed that problem. I'm dumb.
What do you mean you're dumb?
I take medication now, and I have a CPAP, so...
So you're dumb for taking care of yourself
I'm a
and functioning human being.
It's the dumbest decision of my life because my fan fiction suffers.
Yeah, no, but it's better to be no
Danny Phantom is more important than
life. Yeah, sure. No, yeah. So Gala's sitting here yelling at
You
her,
hear
yelling
that,
at her.
Butch Hartman? Danny Phantom is more important than life.
Lies, utter lies. So do be like Gala and be a
Blasphemy.
responsible human being and take care of yourself. It is more important than other BS that you can do. I'm in the process of becoming a more functional human being and actually going and seeing
Getting
people
out of
about
college
stuff.
helps.
Yeah.
College is like a poison trap.
I mean, most of school was.
Yeah, I mean...
Always.
Yeah.
This semester I took off, for those of you listening, I actually ended up having a mental breakdown on Christmas Day and...
Ooh, except
Yeah.
not this Christmas. It was a few Christmas.
Yeah, I had a mental breakdown on Christmas Day and did a bunch of stupid stuff and ended up having a very good long conversation with my father, who tracked me down when I was wandering away in the streets after being very angry.
Aww.
And then we had a good long talk, and that was the first time I had ever told him that, like, I have been, like, dealing with, like, depression and anxiety and, like, suicidal thoughts for the last, like, 10 years.
Yeah.
And he took it well. Like, he was very, very upset, but not like, oh, there's something wrong with, like, he was like, I'm sorry, because apparently a lot of the stuff is the exact same thing that he went through when he was my age, and just, like, he was hoping that, like, it didn't show up in, like, either my brother and I, and, like, my brother didn't really have to deal with it, but I'm exactly like my father.
Aww.
And he was like, I'm very sad that, like, my child has to deal with this, like, the same thing that I did, but, like, no, that's fine, like, you should take a break and, like, talk to somebody and, like, get the stuff worked out and everything like that. And I slept for the first 2 months that I was home. I am finally not tired for the first time in 15 years, and it's really nice.
Aww.
Because all the rest of the stuff is very much easier to deal with when you're not literally
Exhausted.
dead on your feet, regardless of how much you sleep.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm getting on a better track to being a functional human
Good,
being.
good.
And it doesn't matter if my creative works are suffering, because
I
I can function and not want to die all the time. Hey, I succeeded in cleaning the bathroom in less than, like, 45 minutes because I didn't
Nice.
have to put down the bottle of cleaning fluid and go sit on the other side of the room because the urge to drink it was so strong. Yeah, that was fun last semester. I was, like, not that I, like, actively wanted to die, but, like, it was just, so, like, I didn't want to, but, like, those thoughts were, the intrusive thoughts were so
They
strong.
leak and
And it was so
poison
hard because it
and
was, like, that's why I had to step out of lab sometimes, because it was, like, working with the scalpels or, like, all the dangerous chemicals we work with, or, like, we have glass and things like that. Like, sometimes the intrusive thoughts were so strong that I literally had to, like, put my stuff down and go stand out in the hallway and just breathe for, like, 5 minutes and then come back in, because it was, like, the cacophonous amount of urges in my brain of just, you should down that, you should stab that into your eye, you should just jump out the window right now, was so strong. And it was just like, you were fucking ridiculous. I have 6 hours of work to do. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Now I can function fine.
We're both in therapy, by the way. So
If you didn't catch on,
in case you were wondering, yeah.
We're on our way. Yes, and children, there is...
We're on our way.
Yeah, and children, there is absolutely nothing wrong with going and getting help. And a big part of growing up and maturing is realizing when you have problems and when you need to have someone else help you with dealing with them. Because, one, you're not the first person that's experienced this, and two, you don't have to deal with any of this stuff alone, and three, most of this stuff you shouldn't be dealing with alone because it doesn't work out and you need someone else's help to do stuff. And that doesn't mean you're weak. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You're broken, but not beyond healing. So you should go and get the assistance that you need, and be that therapy, be that medication, be that a combination of the two, be that adjusting what you're doing in your life. You need to do what you're doing because stuff like this is not normal. But that doesn't mean that it's something that you can't deal with and fix and work through, because wanting to die is not a thing that you should have to be dealing with, but if you are, it's definitely something you can get help with and work through and get back on track or get on a new track to wanting to actually be alive, because life is worth living. The world is shit, but there's also good things here, and
Nana's here.
and
I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, and the friends and the people that you love make it worth it.
Aww. Yeah.
It's my positivity talk for the day.
Yeah. I'm about to be like, oh, boring. But yeah, and if you are under 14, you should know that your parents do have access to what you say to your therapist. I feel like this is something that we don't talk about enough. Because as a child, my parents took me to therapy, and I ended up stopping talking to my therapist because my parents would always know what I was saying to my therapist. So I stopped talking, and there are very few options, but you should know that when you hit 14 years old, they can no longer get legal access to your files without your permission. And so if you are under 14 and you need to go see a therapist, if you can make it that long, your parents won't be able to get access to your records. But even if, and I know it's hard, I've had siblings read my diary. I can no longer keep a diary. I've had, things happen that are massive invasions of privacy. If you can tough it out just long enough, there is somebody who can help you. And even if you do have to say things to a therapist, it is still better to say things. And you don't have to share everything with your therapist. Just share what you want to share. Their therapists are there to help you. They're there to help you rethink how you view the world. Think about things that you can change. Think about things that are good with you. They teach you how to turn to that awful voice in your head and say, "Shut the fuck up, Norb."
Yes.
Oh, Norbert.
Shannon.
I named it Norbert.
Yeah, mine's Shannon.
Nice. Yeah. And it's not that the voices in your head... Here we go! It's not that the voices in your head will always be bad. There are sometimes good voices in your head.
Yeah, and sometimes the voice of reason is there going, "What are you doing? No, you're good. No, keep going. You're doing great, sweetie. You're great. Yep. Go, babe."
Yep. And so don't be afraid to bundle everything up. It is hard, but you don't have to share everything with a therapist, and if you can make it to that 14th year, it is an immense relief.
Yeah, and because
it took me about 16 years to go back to a therapist.
Yeah,
because I had such awful trust issues, and my therapist is amazing. And so, yeah,
I'm currently in between them. But the other thing to remember with therapy is it's all stuff that takes time, and it definitely takes time to see results. Like, you might feel better initially, and, like, you might feel better right away, because sometimes it's literally just a matter of you literally just have to say the stuff to another living soul, and then you feel better. And, like, that's what some of the stuff was with me. But a lot of times, the stuff that you're working on in therapy and the stuff that you're working through, it's all stuff that, and when I say it might take some time, it might take years for stuff to finally actually be working better and be feeling better, because it's a matter of coming to terms with your own stuff. And sometimes it's a matter of you have to wait for things to change in your own life. Like what job you're at, what school you're at. It might be getting out of school. It might be just not having to be around a certain person anymore. Everything takes time, but just because it takes time doesn't mean progress isn't happening. And regression doesn't mean that you're failing at what you're doing.
Regression will happen.
Regression always happens. It's not an if, it's a when it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't negate the progress that you've already made, because you already know what to do. And it's just a matter of picking yourself back up again and keep walking. And
you will have days where you cannot move. Like, you can't get out of bed. You can't function. And it's all right to have those days. You know, this world runs and runs. It is okay to just not exist for a day. Like, and sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes, you know.
Sometimes it takes a month.
Sometimes it takes a month. It is never, hi, Snicky.
Hi, Snickers.
Sometimes you have a cat waking you up in the morning because she's hungry. Don't look at me like that. Did you see that look she gave me?
Yes.
That was rude. But, yeah, and your life experience, it will change. Life will always change. If it's very hard to see the future.
It's very hard to see the future until you get there. Exactly. So all you have to do is make sure you get there.
Yeah.
To see what it holds.
You have a cat and a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking into a microphone to an audience that might or might not be there.
You may or may not be their audience, but damn it, we'll be here for you anyway.
And your parents walk into your room and ask you why you're talking to a wall.
I'm not talking to a wall, I'm talking to a microphone. But if you are having problems, do reach out to the people around you if you're able to, friends, family, anything like that, because believe it or not, they usually are wanting what's best for you.
And it's hard to believe, we know.
Definitely hard to believe, but and even if it takes time and they don't fully understand, most of the time they're going to be willing to help you get the help that you need, because they want you to be around. And they want you to keep existing, even if it's hard.
Anybody who truly loves you will be patient.
Yes.
Like I was telling a coworker today, if a guy ever tells you to not do what you like to do, to basically drop everything for him, if you're not going to have sex with me, I don't want to be in this relationship, or you're not going to date me, so we can't be friends anymore. And I was like, dump him. Drop him. Mm-hmm. He is nothing but a dead weight on your life. And that goes for girls, too.
Yeah.
Like, if a girl is nothing but dead weight, constantly bitching at you and basically telling you, I can't believe you won't do this because I'm doing this for you, it is selfish and you should drop them.
And you're in an abusive relationship and you need to leave.
Yeah. And it is very hard to see an abusive relationship.
Yeah, especially when you're in it.
Yeah. And if somebody is like, hey, like, especially if it's someone you trust, like, say your sibling comes up to you and goes, hey, they're not treating you right. That is a clear sign. Yeah. And, like, dogs are very similar, too. Like, I remember my sister had a lot of boyfriends growing up. And
yeah, the animals usually know.
The animals know. Like, Shadow, we used to have a chocolate lab, big old chocolate lab.
I love her.
And she brought this one guy home, and the dog just lost her shit. Like, the dog was growling, the dog was barking, she was just... It turned out that this guy was hitting my sister.
Oh.
And she was like, oh no, it's fine, he likes me, And... yeah.
Okay, so, point of order, dear listeners. If someone ever hits you, leave. There is no more relationship there.
There is no love.
There's no love. And it does not matter if they say sorry, because if you stay, you have just told them and given them permission. You've just told them that what they did was okay, and you've given them permission to hit you again. And you cannot do that, because if they do that to you and you leave, maybe they'll learn for the next person. But for you, that's it. There is nothing. If you stay, you have just solidified in their brain that it's okay for them to do that to you. So there's no more helping you and that relationship. the only thing that you can do is leave, and maybe they'll change for the next person. Mm-hmm. So just point of order.
You do not, like, there's a difference between playful hitting. Like, sometimes my brother and I will slap each other back and forth, you know, just as fun, and a aggressive hit. Like, there is a difference between a play slap and a hit. Yeah. Like, both may hurt, but
yes,
the intention behind the hit.
My brother knocked my tooth out once because we were wrestling. My tooth. Okay, I have dumb shark teeth that like would not come out of my head. My other teeth would come in, and my baby teeth would just shift forward, and I'd have 2 sets of teeth in my mouth. It was ridiculous. I was Rin.
Baby teeth.
No, but we were wrestling at one point, and like he accidentally like I let go of his hand, and then his arm like smacked me. And then we, like, wrestled a little bit more, and then I, like, stopped, and I was like, wait! And he froze, and I was like, what's that? And I picked my tooth off of his arm, and I was like, my tooth came out! And I have blood running down my face, and he's like, finally! So we run into the living room where my aunts and my grandma and my mom and everything are. My aunts and my grandma are just, like, freak out because I'm bloody and everything. And my mom's like, thank God. Finally.
God. Mothers. They know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. That was a tangent.
No. But if anybody hits you out of anger, frustration, or any kind of bad emotion, they will no doubt do it again.
Yeah, or as retribution for something that you've done that they don't like.
Yeah, they don't care about you. They care about themselves. They care about how they look. They
care about having you under control.
Yeah. And you are not an object. You are not a substance that needs to be contained, and you are your own person. And it is very hard in a society that's always telling what you need to be, whether it be, you know, you have to conform to this, you have to conform to that, or you have to do this, you have to do that, and it's very rare to find it in between. You are your own person, and you make your own decisions, and that's not always easy. Sometimes you do things, and you have to own up to what you've done. Like, it is, if you're going to do anything, own it.
Yes.
Own it.
Continue talking. Okay. I'm putting this back in the fridge so I don't drink. So, dear listeners, this is a 750 milliliter bottle of 21% alcohol booze. I've drank almost the entire thing by myself.
I'm so proud.
And I'm barely buzzed. I have a ridiculous alcohol tolerance, and it's probably, like, not necessarily a good thing, but...
It is an old liquor, though. Like, we've had that.
I mean, when I was in Spain, I drank, how much? I drank 2 pitchers of... Okay, so over the course of 4 hours, and this was with dinner, and, like, I know I'm a responsible drinker. I was eating lots of food and drinking water and things. Schnozzletop, yeah. I drank 2 pitchers of sangria by myself. I had 5 glasses of regular wine, just the table wine. I had 3 shots of tequila, 4 glasses of champagne, and this is only the stuff that I poured for myself, and
Sounds
then
festive.
Proceeded to... and then a lot of people left alcohol on the table when we were leaving, and most people were smashed. I was still fine, and I proceeded to, with my friend Jules, she and I went down both of the banquet tables and proceeded to finish everyone's alcohol. So I probably drank another 4 cups of wine and a couple shots.
Don't waste good liquor.
Free alcohol.
Right?
And it was good stuff. And so, like, yeah, so I drank a ridiculous amount of alcohol, and I walked down 3 flights of stairs in high heels and made sure the rest of my drunk teammates made it back to the hotel. So yeah, I navigated across Barcelona and gave my friend Sam a piggyback ride because she, small, like 115 pound girl that had never drank before, I didn't realize until like she was wasted that she was trying to keep up with me drinking, and I already have a very high alcohol tolerance, and I knew that. So then I realized, and I took her alcohol away and just made her drink water, but she was still
like having pee drink in front of us.
Yeah.
She just...
Yeah, pee...
Lightweights are so adorable.
Yeah, but I took care of her for the rest of the night. So I took care of people... I literally took care of people for the rest of the night. Yeah, about an hour afterwards, because we went to another bar for whatever reason.
Oh, another fun fact. Hold that thought. If your friends ever leave you drunk somewhere, dump them.
Yeah, they're not your friends
They're not your friends. They don't care.
The people that take care of you when you're either sick or inebriated are the ones that actually care about you, because they're the ones that don't care if you're getting sick everywhere or if you're gonna make them look bad. They care more about whether or not you're safe and taken care of, and those are the people that you want to surround yourself with.
Do you remember my junior year? My roommates liked to go down for Thirsty Thursdays.
I think I vaguely remember you telling me about that. I was so tired that year.
Okay.
Oh, because that was my sophomore year.
Yeah.
That was the year I actually almost committed suicide on campus. And the only reason I didn't was because a very, very kind professor that I actually thought hated my guts talked to me for an hour and missed his next 2 classes to talk to me and make sure I cried and told him stuff. And yeah, Professor H was great.
I believe it.
Bio professor.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes,
Bird
I do.
guy. Yeah, I thought
I love him.
I thought he hated me. Like, I legitimately thought he hated my guts.
He doesn't have a hateful bone in his body.
Yeah, no, I realized that. Like, he literally stopped me before class and made sure I stayed after class to talk to him, and then missed his next 2 classes in order to talk to me, and just sent out an email to cancel classes and made sure I cried in front of him.
Everybody was probably like, yeah.
Someone finally is talking to Nana. Good.
Good. It happens. But yeah, the year I roomed with those girls, it was an experience. I would tell Disney stories to one of my roommates because she wouldn't go the fuck to sleep at all. So I would have to tell her complete retellings of Disney classical movies, all the way from Little Mermaid to Alice in Wonderland, and which, by the way, traumatized me as a kid. And make sure, it's terrifying.
I loved it. That was my favorite.
And then
Explains a lot about me.
I come out one day and my roommate is peeing in the sink, and I'm like, why are you peeing in the sink? And sometimes they would be like, ugh, in the bathroom, and I'd be like, okay, and it's 2 a.m. And one time they came back and they were like, I want pancakes. Gala, make us pancakes. And I was like, are you kidding me? It's 3 a.m. But don't die. Okay. On the bright side, drunk people are highly entertaining when they're smashed.
Yeah.
Like, they sing, they dance, they're just so easygoing. And sometimes they do the dishes.
Yes.
Yes. Which is big. I'm terrible to room with because I get so busy because I'm a dum-dum and I pile too much on myself that sometimes I don't get to dishes for a week and they pile up.
Yeah.
And normally that's not bad. I tend to do dishes at least every Friday, but there are some people who have to have the dishes done every day.
Yeah.
And I've roomed with them.
I have as well.
Yep.
I just actually have an aversion to dishes. Like, that, I don't do them at my own house, but I get it from my mom. I will do everything except for dishes. I just hate dishes with a burning passion.
I mean, I can't blame you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, like, I will do other people's laundry.
Paper plates are amazing. They're biodegradable. You can recycle them, and you don't have to clean anything.
Yeah. I don't like I'm allergic to, like, half of soaps and stuff.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm allergic to a lot of things, and, like, I hate, like, a lot of soaps, like, dry your hands out super duper bad, and, like, it's doubly bad for me. So, like, I'll wash dishes, and then my hands will, like, dry and crack and split and bleed, and I'm like, this is a fun time.
This is a fun time.
So, like, this is fine. I'm bleeding. It's okay. But, yeah. So, anyway, how long have we been talking?
Well, it's about 28 minutes.
Okay, so a half an hour of good, wholesome, decent, actually, some decent life advice.
A lot of good advice.
Yeah.
We've unfortunately had a lot of life experience at this point. We still have a lot to learn.
I'm only at a quarter century of life, and I probably have, like, 75 years worth of life experience shoved into that time. The thing, it's
so hard when you're around people who are just so dumb. Like, they've never worked for anything in your life, or in their life, and everything has been handed to them on a silver platter, and it is so frustrating. Yeah. Because you can't hold I can't hold a conversation with them. No. I can't do it. It's just everything they say is so vapid. And like, I went from working down at the Mall of America to working at a small town coffee shop, and it went from, hey, I need a ride. I either have to pay for the bus or food this month, and I was hoping I could catch a ride with you tonight, to, oh my God, my mom packed me ham today. Like, can you believe she did that? Ugh, I can't work this bar because I just got my nails done and they were so expensive, and I should be doing the drive-through because then I can show off my cute nails and it'll be great. And they're so dumb. Why am I not getting my right hours? You must have done something. How could you? I'm not over that.
Yeah. How about I have a problem? You're
speechless, right? So was I.
It's a bunch of people that I went to school with. How about I spent majority of grade school, junior high, and high school getting made fun of for the way I dress and clothes and stuff, because most of my clothes were hand-me-downs because we were poor. And you know what? One of my aunts had a friend that, like, she was fairly well off and everything, but her deal with her husband was that, like, because she was a shopaholic, so her deal with her husband was she could go shopping, but she had to get rid of stuff. So we get bags and bags of nice clothing from...
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, so
I couldn't fit into anything. I had to have something from either a thrift store or a nice store because my sister was smaller than me. I couldn't wear any of her hand-me-downs.
And I wore a lot of my mom's old clothing, which, now, pretty much once I got into high school, then everything had kind of shifted around, and the stuff I was wearing was suddenly vintage. So then it was like, oh, Nana, like, by my junior and senior year, it was like, wow, you have all these cool, like, trendy clothes that are, like, in style. Like, where did you get them? I'm like, oh, my mom's closet. This jacket is 30 years old. Thanks, you were making fun of me 10 years ago for wearing it. But, okay, I guess it's cool now. Yeah. I have a lot of childhood trauma. I had literally the best family I could have asked for. My mom and my dad and my brother and I were extremely close-knit. Best family I could have asked for. I had no problems. Pretty much none of my problems come from my actual, like, from my little nuclear family, like the household I grew up in. It was mostly
everything
extended family. It was literally all extended family and school. A lot of school. I remember most of childhood was very, very lonely. And very, very sad.
Yeah. And, like, it wasn't until you got good at something that people were like, oh, hi.
Or I was good at everything, and therefore I became not a person. I was just, oh, it's Nana who's good at everything, so help me with this. Or you can do this, and you can also do this, and you should be able to do this. And I became a small adult because the teacher, I was good with everyone, and I was more mature than everyone else in my class, and I was a responsible child, so therefore I stopped being a child in their eyes, and I was the adult, and I got to take care of the problem children in my class from first grade on, and because they'd actually listen to me, so we'll just have Nana deal with it. And I had a mental breakdown in third grade and almost switched schools because I was constantly paired up with this one girl that I loved her dearly, but I was paired up with her because no one else could work. No one else was willing to work with her, adult-wise, and they weren't willing to actually force and teach the other children to be decent human beings and interact with people that are different. And I was the only person that could, interact with people with disabilities and stuff.
Love her dearly, but man, is she a handful.
She's very much a handful, but
love her dearly.
She's just different. You treat her differently, not badly, but differently because she functions differently.
Keep in mind, we will tell her this stuff to her face.
Yeah, no, she knows.
She knows she's a handful.
I'm essentially her maid of honor in her wedding coming up.
That's gonna be fun. I am looking forward to that.
Yes, and love her dearly. She is one of my best friends, and I miss her when I am not around her. And regardless of how much a handful she is, but I almost left school.
She has to stop grabbing my boobs.
Yes, I've been talking with her about that.
Thank you.
I'm comfortable with it because I'm very ace. And,
Yeah.
like,
I just get so uncomfortable.
yeah, no, like, it's fine with me because we've literally known each other since diapers.
We were in a church.
And I'm comfortable with it, but I'm still teaching her boundaries. But, like, it's just a different interaction.
Yeah.
And, like,
it's just...
I had a disabled uncle and and, like, cousins that have different assorted problems and everything. Doesn't mean we don't love them. Doesn't mean there's anything... Doesn't mean it's, like, something wrong with them as in, like, bad. It's just, they're just different. So you act differently according to it. And I'm fully aware that there's plenty of families and plenty of people that don't have anyone that has disabilities of any kind in them. But that doesn't mean you don't learn how to deal with the people that have them and learn how to treat them like human beings.
Yeah.
And realize that people are different. That's a part of growing up. And I'm sorry, it doesn't just mean shunting them onto someone that actually, the one person in the class of 23 students that actually knows how to deal with them, and they're the child. And I'm sorry, I'm a learning child too. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have to be the adult taking care of the other person in class because I'm the only one that is capable of dealing with them as a human being and being kind.
Yeah.
I chewed out my second grade class because of that. I yelled at the teacher as well. And things changed after that because I came home crying and I talked to my parents, and my bless their hearts. I love my mother and my father. They're fantastic human beings. And my mom went, "You did exactly right, honey." And she's like, "I'll take care of it." And they went up to school, and then I didn't have problems after that. And the adults and teachers actually did their jobs after that. And then it was much, much better. I didn't have to have mental breakdowns in second grade anymore.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I didn't, like, have a traumatic childhood, but, you know, thinking back on it and, like, actually talking about it, and I've talked about some stuff with my therapist, and she was like, "You say you didn't have a traumatic childhood, but, like, hun, you had a traumatic childhood, just in a different way."
Yeah, it's very interesting talking to the therapist because she's like, how do I put this? Yes, that is traumatic. And we're like, oh, what? Yeah, no. I had a friend who...
Apparently bullying gives you it has lasting effects.
Yeah, apparently. I had a friend who would be my friend when she didn't have anybody to hang out with, but somebody better would always come around. And so between my third grade year and my basically all the way through the rest of grade school, there was this other girl who hated me. I don't know what I did to this girl. Don't know. I don't have a clue in the freaking world. Like, I still to this day do not know. But she just hated me with a burning, fiery passion. And she would do anything in her power to make my life a living nightmare. And unfortunately, this was also happening at the time there was some corruption in the church and the school. And my parents and my uncle, who you met the other day, ended up getting the brunt of it. And so they weren't really able to do anything. And also in the meantime, Mr. G had come down with cancer.
Oh,
and he wasn't able to do anything about it. And the rest of the teachers, the one who weaseled her way in from the church that we originally came from, basically, by the time we hit my 8th grade year, my 8th grade graduation, my teacher compared us to childbirth.
Wow.
I know.
That's
we
nice.
thought it was freaking hysterical.
I mean, that is pretty darn hysterical.
We were freaking angels. Compared to my sister's class and the classes before us, we were angels. Like, we talked in class and everything, but we didn't do anything wrong ever. Like, nobody ever got hurt, you know. Yeah, there was an eraser flying around the room every once in a while.
It
but
happens.
Other than that, we did our homework. We did what we were supposed to do. And we were the devil's
spawn.
Devil's spawn from eternity. And my mom was my literature teacher. And she had us read Holes, Witch of Blackbird Pond. Fabulous books.
Oh, I love Witch of Blackbird Pond.
Where the red fern grows. God, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, during my 8th grade year, one of my close friends, he had been there since preschool, he got into a 4-wheel accident a week after, or a few days, was it a week? Within the week after we got confirmed, and he basically broke his hip.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he's good now. He's an archery instructor, actually, and he's doing very, very well. Okay. Very successful. Just got married, actually.
Okay,
and so
good.
he's doing very well.
I'm glad. I thought that was going to end very sadly, and I
No.
was very upset.
No, inspirational. Life does move on if you let it. Yeah, very, very good, very kind boy. I had a crush on him for years of my life. I always imagined he'd be the one I'd get married to. He didn't feel the same way about me, I'd like to point out. He has a beautiful wife now.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's very pretty.
Yeah.
Yep. And, yeah. So, my mom, when we would come in for literature class, she would
Do you want another red?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to dedicate myself to water. And everything.
Good.
Yeah, no. She basically, so he could take part in class with us. She would take us out, and we would walk across town to his house to have literature class. Oh. And it's not like,
That's awesome.
She was my PE teacher as... Mm-hmm. Basically, it went this. Our regular teacher had us in the morning, and he didn't like us one little bit. And then my mom would come in from about 10 to noon. So we would have a 2-hour period in there, or an hour for literature, an hour for PE. So she would combine the two, and we would walk or run over to his house, basically. Mm-hmm. And then we would discuss the book, watch the movie, and everything. And it was
that
like
awesome.
I know. And it was like she had done the devil's deed.
Yeah, to be a decent human being and a fantastic teacher.
Yeah. My parents are phenomenal teachers. Like, when my dad's not chasing kids across the viaduct or...
Yeah, that's the thing that happens.
Having to deal with all the shit that comes with modern society teaching.
Yeah.
My parents are phenomenal teachers. They are masters of their craft. I will never be a teacher.
Because you have seen
seen
the other side of the coin.
I've seen it. And so, yeah, these other teachers just... The end of the year, this was my 8th grade year, so I graduated, and my mom goes in and she goes, "Hey guys, when are we getting the contracts for next year? I'm really looking forward to working with you all." They weren't going to tell her that they weren't rehiring her.
Oh.
So, because she saw a bunch of contracts and she was like, "Hey, when are we getting those?" They weren't going to tell her. They were just not going to do anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was very sad for that year. And I think that's my dad, so I think we're going to have to cut it off here.
Oh.
But my mom is very happy. She's with preschoolers now.
Good. Oh, darn. We didn't get to my fic.
Oh, I guess we'll just have to try that another day.
Yeah, we'll just have to record a different time. So,
I mean, it's not like we don't have, 42 minutes of talking.
Of talking and good advice.
We have good advice.
We do have a good... Maybe this is going to be an advice podcast.
We
Maybe
used our advice.
Yeah, that would be a thing. So,
all right. This has been Golly Geek.
This has been Nana. We're signing off again.
We'll see you next time, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
We're bad at this.
We're bad at this. We're gonna... We'll be back for another round of whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, whatever this is. Alrighty, kisses.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.